will to the Liberal Democrat spokesperson, Steve Darling.
Thank you. It is a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship, Mr Turner, and I'd like to congratulate the member for South Dorset for obtaining this extremely important debate. We've heard from colleagues from around the room some really good quality information around how this matter needs tackling for the common good of the United Kingdom. Clearly, this is the law is not strong enough around whistleblowing. People leave themselves open to harm if they do the right thing. And as colleagues have said, the government should have their back. And I look forward to hearing information from the Minister on this. And colleagues have already highlighted how it needs to be around culture change. And I'm very much alive to, there's some parts of the aviation industry that are very good on their culture, and that is the aircraft controllers, where there is an openness and transparency around that world, where it isn't just when there's crashes that things are shared, it's when those near misses happen and what lessons can be learnt from those. And that's exactly where we need to be in industry and our society more generally around having that openness and transparency, because whistleblowers cast the light into those dark corners. I just wanted to reflect on my time as being a servant of Torbay, where I've come across whistleblowers that have had a positive impact. There was a tribunal in respect of a social worker that I sat on where whistleblowers played a significant part of actually the local authority departing their way with him and him being struck off because of the issues that whistleblowers raised there. Waste management in Torbay was another area where a whistleblower stepped out from amongst his colleagues and shared where there were some challenges some years ago, and matters were taken in hand and positive changes were made. And on the international scene, one only has to look at Boeing and a gentleman called John Barnett, who was a quality control manager there, who'd worked for Boeing for more than 30 years, had serious concerns. So he had whistleblowing around this, and yet, sadly, he was not protected, and he ended up committing suicide a little over a year ago. So those are some of the real challenges that we see, both very close to home for me in Torbay, but also internationally, where whistleblowers have the best interests of our communities. I'd also reflect on non-disclosure arrangements and how they often play a part in this world, where that's meant to be purely around intellectual property rights, unless non-disclosure agreements often come to play of silencing people. I had a situation where, due to my disability a few years ago, there was wrongdoing that could have been taken to the law around this. Compensation was paid that I passed on to charities of my choice, but I still had to sign a non-disclosure agreement, even though the company that it was in respect of had actually picked up better ways and should have been sharing this. But as Liberal Democrats, we want to see an office of the whistleblower developed and launched. Also, we want to see laws around this strengthened so that it protects people. But most of all, what we need to see is a culture change, a culture of belief and support for whistleblowers, because, as colleagues have said throughout the debate this afternoon, they do so much good for our society as a whole. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.